host, Jamie Soretta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local here in Arizona, and that is something that my next guest does every single day when she hits the trails. I want to introduce you to Laurel Darren of Wild Bunch Desert Guides. Wild bunch for a reason. You are a wild one, Laurel, aren't you?
Yes.
You like to have fun. I knew that from the second I met you. You have big energy, and if anyone was going to take me out on the trails for a hiking or biking adventure, it would be you. How did you end up in this business?
Well, I moved to Arizona in 2012, and I've always had that personality to take people out and do things. Always a leader personality, and somebody recommended to me, you should be a guide. You'd be really good at it. And so I took my chances, and I worked for Arizona Outback Adventures, and I became a guide, and I absolutely loved it. I found so much joy, and just it's pure, it's fun, you get to be the person that takes the picture with the saguaro cactus and get those people out on the trail in a safe way and really show them a Sonoran Desert experience.
And well, we went out together.
We did.
For one of my local loves, mountain biking. One of the few things that I think I'd be doing is mountain biking.
Okay.
I loved biking as a kid, just riding around the neighborhood. I remember the wind therapy of being on a bicycle. And then to be out in the desert like that. You did a great job of taking care of me, making sure I felt at ease, making sure I felt safe and cared for in trying something new. So how do you learn that nurturing quality there?
Well, that's one thing that's really hard to learn as a guide is people are not just following you on a bike. Yeah. You're responsible for their safety and to get them back to their resort so they can get that drink with an umbrella. So it just kind of comes with time and just sort of understanding and learning people's nuances and their fears and making them do something that they're scared of. So we really, really watch for that type of stuff and take care of people.
Yeah, from the nervous energy to the excitement that they did it, to that big picture with the saguaro cactus, like you said, and trying something new is really special. Tell me a little bit about where you're from, how you got to here, and how you ended up. I mean, if someone just said, you should be a guide, and you took that advice, tell me how that story, I think there's some holes in that story, so catch me up a little bit.
Well, I have an athletic background. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and once I went to college, I played softball. And
what were the 3 sports?
Oh, volleyball, basketball, softball.
Oh.
I went to college, played softball. After my college career, I wanted to work on my physique a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I took up running and I've run 30 marathons, done some cycling. I have an Ironman finish, a couple Leadville 100s. But I really came to Arizona and I got on the mountain bike, and I really found my joy there. A lot of it is because it's you against nature. You're not dealing with cars. You're not dealing with craziness like that, but you're dealing with the rocks and just the cactus and the beauty. So mountain biking has become my joy and my love, and I ride a single speed, which is a whole nother ball game.
What does that mean?
It's a 1 gear. And, it's a certain type of personality that rides those single
Tell me
speeds.
more. Keep going.
It's not when I'm on tour, but it's, personally, it's a group of people that just choose to ride 1 gear because it's a difficult, and it's, kind of gives you a little more of a status, So
this might be a type A type thing.
Possibly.
Probably.
Yeah. Right,
okay.
right. And I ride with the Arizona Single Speeders, and it's a fun group of mostly guys, really nice professionals that are out there riding their bikes, having fun. So you have to be a kind of a guy's girl, so to speak,
So when you came to Arizona, what were you doing for work?
Prior to Arizona, I was a massage therapist for about 14 years. I'm from the Quad Cities, Davenport, Iowa. And then I came to Arizona and just switched it up.
Really?
That's it, yeah.
So you became a guide the second you moved here?
Well, I worked for Tri-Sports in Tempe, and then they decided to go on another journey, and that's when my friend Randy reached out to me and said, oh, you'd be a great guide, and sent me the ad for Arizona Outback Adventures.
And then you worked for them for how long?
I was there for about 4 years.
What inspired you to go out on your own and build your own business, your own brand?
Really, it was about wanting to do something more private and having more connection with our guests. Arizona Outback Adventures at the time, and to this day, they're now REI Adventure Center. They're really known for their logistics in terms of bigger groups, and they pull it off lovely and wonderfully. But we wanted to do something more small and private and boutique and wow factors and give people that fun, safe adventure, but know their name and be able to have them come back year after year. And my staff and I know them by name. And there's just a little bit different in terms of group size, keeping it small and private.
So 2016 is when you started your business. Who was your very first booking and what was that like?
Oh, wow. Her name was Kristen. And at the time we were doing Camelback mountain hikes.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's tough. Which trail did you take people on, both?
Well, so we took, it was interesting. She actually called a bike shop. And my friend Crystal, who owns Spur Cross Cycles, she recommended me as a guide because in the beginning it was just me. Right. I was taking everybody.
Right.
So I took her 2 kids who were at the time like 14 and 16 and the mom. We went mountain biking and then they went and climbed Camelback Mountain with one of my guides. And to this day, they still, every time they're in Arizona, call and we do something.
No, how special.
Yeah, it is special.
Yeah, and, you sent me some notes. Tell me about what happened in 2020 where you were driving for Amazon. What happened there?
Oh, well, hiking and biking, it was a gray line. It was deemed essential. I mean, really. And our business depends on tourism. And there wasn't any tourism happening in Arizona. So we decided I rented some of my bikes out to people that had stayed in Arizona. And I came across a gentleman named Mark Nelson who had a Amazon DPS. So Amazon drivers are independent contractors. And it was weird how we connected because he worked kind of in my industry when he worked for Toyota. So he kind of understood that I had a small business and I was going to go back to it if I could. And so I took a job as an Amazon driver and I delivered in Chandler and Santan Valley. And I did that for 8 months. And I took every single shift I could just to save my business, just to make sure that I had money in the bank and I was personally making money to take care of my bills. But it was great. I was listening to my Freddie Mercury. I was delivering toilet paper and cat litter like it was going out of style.
Necessities.
And people, Jamie, were so great to drivers. They were leaving us Gatorade and it was an experience for sure. So I have a different type of love for Amazon drivers. Every time I see them, I try to give them $2 to get a drink on me because save my business. I mean, really.
Wow. They're like magic. Things just appear. You think of something, all of a sudden it appears on your doorstep. Boom, it's there. Especially during that time. And then to help that pad your savings and save your business is really cool. So Wild Bunch. Why did you go with the name Wild Bunch? Because
I feel like there's a little bit of a tombstone reference there, Wild Bunch, and then just the Wild West. And it describes sort of the personality, not in terms of crazy wild, but just eccentric and fun and
happy.
Happy and
I
joy.
think when I first met you and your crew, it was big smiles, big hugs, big hellos, big energy. And you love that, especially when you're about to go out and do something new.
Yeah.
Head out to the desert. You don't know what's going to happen out there.
Right?
I trust that you do.
Yeah.
And I like that name, though, too.
Thank you.
And, you mentioned Tombstone. So you have a trip that is going to be in Jerome soon. For fun?
Yes. We're going to Jerome this evening for the celebration of Halloween, and we're staying at the Clink Scale. Have you been there?
Yes. Okay. So, we tape this podcast in advance. We record a podcast, I suppose. And when you talk about timely things, we're going to be dropping this in November. But I couldn't help but ask because I love Arizona and I love getting around Arizona. So this is Halloween that we are taping. And yes, so you're going down to the Clink Scale where they say they have a haunted cat, a little ghost cat who hops on your bed at the clink scale. And I swear I felt that cat hop up on my bed.
Really?
One night when I stayed there.
Oh, that's so cool. I can't
felt
wait.
like a little pet energy. Like, you know how you feel like the bed kind of go down a little?
Really?
I swear it happened to me. Maybe it was just put in my head. And, you know, I like animals.
Okay.
That idea didn't scare me. I think the name of the cat is Sip, like sipping milk. I think so. That's my clink scale story. But it's a beautiful hotel.
I made this reservation back in March, and I was really excited because we've stayed at the Jerome Grand on Halloween night.
God. Why?
And that's something you have to do on your bucket list. As a matter of fact, we have reservations there next year again. I got on their waiting list, and they're already booking for years ahead. That is an experience for sure. It's
what?
It's legit. It's scary, and the place still smells like the days of the miners in the asylum, and it's freaky.
So you think it's haunted?
I think it's haunted. I do think it's haunted. Yeah.
Okay. So we got the Halloween energy out of us.
Yes.
Let's talk about going biking, going hiking, because now we're in mid-November.
Yes.
It's time to play in the valley, and it's like prime weather, prime season.
Finally.
What can we do? How do we do it safely?
So a lot of our clients or guests, you know, they come into town, they're coming to Arizona for the first time, they're bringing their kids. So we are really respected in terms of taking kids and families. That's sort of our target is couples, kids, families, small groups, small bachelorette parties, but don't go party the night before you come out with us.
No.
That's
That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, that could be a little dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
But so just reach out. Our website definitely is the best way to look at everything and understand. I answer the phone, so if you call, you're going to get me for sure. And of course, I'm always willing to take time to talk you through any of the activities we do. We can tailor it to any level, from a touring pace to a moderate to an advanced. There's all kinds of options here, Jamie.
Yeah.
You got to come explore.
Well, you have to explore because our city and our state is just so incredibly beautiful. And I think it's something that I think, I'd love to do that, but I need a professional with me. I've been that person who took that hike and got I rescued by the angel who had the water or the Kleenex or whatever in the mountains, saw you struggling because you just don't realize how strenuous some of this stuff is. And we think, I'm used to the heat. Come on. But it'll sneak up on you. And so if I had a small group and I wanted to take a hike with you, are you doing Camelback? Do you have other mountain options? How does it go?
So we try our best to make the hike location as close to where the guests are staying. So we don't do Camelback Mountain anymore. We leave that to other companies who really sincerely find joy in summiting Camelback every day. And there are companies out there that do that. So you'd call and you'd book, and we'd take you. Say most of our hikes are in the Phoenix Mountain Preserve area. Trail 302 is a big one we use. We started going on a Dreamy Draw. That trailhead there is wonderful. Have you seen the new renovated trailhead at Dreamy Draw?
No. Well, we talked about it on the news, but I haven't seen it. No,
it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We do some hikes up at Tom's Thumb area, Marcus Landslide. Our guests that come from the Four Seasons. We stay up north in North Scottsdale, Gateway Trailhead, and the McDowell Sonoran Preserve. All those areas are just beautiful. The trailheads. Lots of people are really stunned by the beauty of those rustic, immaculate trailheads, and they love the bathrooms. They're so nice.
Oh, well, that's important.
Yes, it is.
And less traveled is nice too.
Yes.
The few times I will only do Camelback when Camelback Santa is up there.
That is I will go. Honestly, I think Camelback is a great hike. It's super challenging, as you know, both sides. But when they have Camelback Santa up there, he is so great because of his charity-driven organization, and then just the candy canes when he gives you the heart or the coal. I always get a piece of coal from him. I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know.
You know him well? What does he know about you, Laurel?
I don't know.
What's he
That's
got?
what I'm wondering. I'm like,
he's got to be in his bonnet over something.
I look at him, I'm like, why is he handing me coal? Like me, like out of all the people up here, me and
Just to tease you.
yeah, I know.
So do you know him personally?
I don't know him personally. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you follow him?
I did a couple stories with him.
Oh, you did? Is he a great guy?
And I don't think I ever interviewed him. I think I set him up for other reporters, but I did one year end up on his Christmas card list. So I got
Really?
a Christmas card here to the station from Camelback Santa.
Really?
And that thing hung in my cubicle as long as we had cubicles. Now we're in pods, so a lot of my decor came down. But I couldn't believe it. It was like, he's a local celebrity.
He's like a legend.
Yes.
He's like a goat. He's a
Yes.
goat. He did. I know he did. I think he did. And I hope I get this right. I think he did the Appalachian Trail, or he did one of those big through hikes too.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. And can you imagine hiking that tree up there? I want to know. I think I've seen the people. It's like there are these elves that come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden there's a tree up there,
And boom.
and then there's the one time there was the Grinch. I mean, I've seen the Grinch up there, the Whoville people. They go all out Camelback Mountain.
This is why I do Camelback at Christmas time only. Tell me about you've helped people get on the bike, learn how to mountain bike, and then really go on to do big things with the bike. Tell me about that.
So some of my personal proudest moments as a guide, and I would say my staff would say the same thing, is when we get a child who is 5 or 6 or 7 and they've never mountain biked before, and you could be the difference in their life in terms of mountain biking. You get one shot, Jamie. Yeah. You've got to hit the mark. Like, you've got to get them out there. You've got to make it fun. You've got to make them feel like they can do it. Keep them rolling. Teach them, small skills like your wheels go where your eyes go, just little things. And then because their whole life could love biking, right? They could be 7, love it, 10, love it, 21, love it, 35, love it. But I've actually had kids that I've taken who are now high school champions, and their parents still reach out to me and say, our son won the Minnesota high school championship, and send me a picture. And here I am with a little picture with their son standing next to a cactus. Our job can be really rewarding too, in terms of making a difference.
I tend to cry a little on this podcast, and that made me tear up just to know that this experience here in Arizona, maybe they're visiting, maybe it's their first time on their bike in the desert. You think of what a pivotal moment on a bike for a kid is, with the freedom, etc. And then to make that big, biking is something people can do for life. Yeah. So you think of all these skills that we learn in school that, when am I going to do that again? Yeah. I'm not going to dance on my toes anymore like I used to. But that's something people can do for their entire life and feel secure in it and happy with it. So how cool is that you get to make that difference? It's overwhelming, and it certainly, I'm going to get teary-eyed too. I hope we don't look like Marilyn Manson, but I guess we could on Halloween. I wrote a blog about this recently too, just about how guiding is more than just, like I said earlier, get on the bike and follow me. I mean, you could be in the middle of somebody's divorce and don't know it. You could be that person out there making someone's entire day and you don't know it. They could have, for example, my mom has dementia. They could have a family member with dementia like my mom, and they're dealing with that too, and they come out on that ride, and they're choosing you to make that difference. They're choosing your team to take them out and make them smile. And we've had some really deep, intense moments with guests, and how they feel the first time they see a saguaro cactus and their face just lights up and they're standing there looking up at it. Or, sometimes we find cactus that have the needles burned off because they're aging, right? Wow. And they can hug them. And oh, wow.
It's like, safely, we get them. Yes. But my point is anybody can make a difference. Yeah. And we happen to be in a job that is rich in giving joy and adventure to people in our beautiful state of Arizona.
Yeah. How do you even train for that? You have to be trained to make sure everything's safe, make sure you train us properly to conduct our vehicle, our bike safely. And then you have to provide emotional support for whatever crisis you don't know that we're going through. And that's why I'm out here in the middle of the desert and on a bike today.
Right. Well, all of my staff is required to be first aid CPR certified in terms of medical. Some of my guides have a wilderness first responder, which is a really great tool in case you're in a situation that is not within 911 range. you can do a little more medically before proper, medical professionals show up on scene. But it's, you always need to be in shape, number one. I mean, you never know who you're gonna get as a client.
Right.
So it's a good way to keep in shape. But on that note, it's not about you. It's about your guest. It's all about your guest. So the miles you put on out there are not your personal miles. They're your guest's miles. And so it's a good way to keep in shape.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Mentally and physically,
yes.
I imagine.
Yes.
So do you have a favorite trail that you ride for joy?
My favorite trail on the mountain bike, and this is a single speed ride, is I Love Desert Classic at South Mountain. It's fun. It's a lot of up and down. It's super flowy, and it just makes sense on a single speed. As a hike, I love Tom's Thumb. I think Tom's Thumb is hands down one of the most beautiful. It's got a little element of challenge. It's got there's a bowl that I call it the bowl. You kind of walk into this bowl of boulders that are just amazing. And then you got to touch the thumb for luck.
Of course.
And the views of North Scottsdale and Pinnacle Peak and Four Seasons and Browns Ranch are just amazing from up there. So,
okay. So, I like to hike in quotes. I really like to walk. I don't like to use my hands to climb, which you do on Camelback. I always let people know, like, you kind of climb on Camelback.
You do. That's correct. That's good information.
Tourists don't know.
Yeah.
You're using your hands. You're scooting on your butt. When you do Tom's Thumb, do you climb the thumb?
No.
So you just to go touch it.
You go,
okay.
well.
So that sounds a little better because I always wondered what the heck was going on with that hike. Okay.
Tom's Thumb, have you ever done it?
No. Are we going now?
We are.
Right now, okay. That's fine with me.
I mean, you didn't.
On a bike?
You rocked that mountain bike. And let me tell you, your photog had that camera.
Oh, my gosh.
And he was riding the bike.
It was
Remember
Victor,
that? Victor.
right?
Is Victor still with you?
Of course he is.
Victor, shout out to Victor.
Yeah, always.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was riding the bike. He was shooting at the same time.
Yes, he was.
He had great control. He's a Marine, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I always
thank you,
enjoyed
Victor.
working. Yes, thank you, Victor, for your service
Yes.
now, then, and in the future, because he does a great job.
So Tom's Thumb is different from Camelback if you want to compare the two in terms of terrain. Tom's Thumb is a little, I feel like it's steeper, but it's more manageable, so you're not climbing boulders, as you know. My overview of Echo Canyon at Camelback is you do a couple of switchbacks and you feel like, then you get to the Stairmaster.
Oh, yes.
Then you have the handrails.
Yes.
Then you have the 4 bouldering sections.
Okay.
That's how I break it down.
Yeah, that's good.
That's how I break it down.
However, one time someone told me there was a bar at Camelback Mountain, and went to reach the bar. I go, what do you mean the bar? They have a bar? I thought we were talking about like Jade Bar or Sanctuary. What are we talking about? Oh, there's a bar that you literally like hoisting your body up. I'm sliding. I'm in my old sneakers. I had no idea. I should probably have bought new, like better shoes for this experience.
Right, yeah.
I was sliding up and down that thing, but I grabbed that bar and I hoisted myself up and I kept going.
Yeah, so to your point of footwear.
Yes.
Big, if you're going to come and hike here, please don't. Listen, who doesn't love a good pair of Chuck Taylors?
Yeah.
I have some Batman ones. I adore them, but I would not recommend that type of footwear with that flat bottom, like a Ked or a Vans. Not the best choice. Now, if you fly here and you put in your suitcase, okay.
Yeah.
It's closed-toed, so that's good. But I would say get a good hiking boot.
Yeah.
Go to Just Roughing It. Local
Yes,
was on your local love.
Yes, and my podcast.
Yes, go, go local, shop local. Or you can wear a Hoka, or I'm just going to, any one of those names. Yeah, Hoka. Yeah. Something like that is better than that pink Converse.
Okay.
So
we described the terrain at Echo, but what about Tom's Thumb? So what is the terrain like there?
Tom's Thumb is more pea gravel, easier to manage, like more beautifully cut trails. Okay. It gets steep in the beginning, and it's a little bit loose. So when you're coming down, you have to really watch your footing, and you kind of have to do like a sideways walk down just to hold your balance, not slip. Yeah.
Is it intermediate? Is it beginner?
It's ranked intermediate, a little bit advanced. I think it's because of the major elevation gain right off the bat. I mean, you start out and you're like, oh, this is beautiful. And you're looking at these beautiful rocks. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, bam, elevation. Yeah. So got to be ready.
Yeah, stay ready.
We got to go do it,
That's
Jamie.
what we say.
You and I.
I mean, why not?
We do.
I do. Okay, so we're going to do that.
Okay. It's a date.
Okay, yes, we'll make that work. Tommy says we have to finish the podcast first. Tommy, just for that comment, you're coming with us. So he's in. He's in.
Great.
I
love
our
it.
Technician. He loves to ride. So you get this guy on a motorcycle, he will ride. He likes the wind therapy too. So maybe we need to try him on a mountain bike.
Ooh, I think he would love that.
Yes.
And Jamie can mountain bike, Tommy, by the way.
I'll try to.
I was there. I was there. I mean, I was there.
I think in this business, I have learned I can do anything for 3 minutes. And I just tell myself when I'm scared, I could do it for 3 minutes. And if I continue to like it, I can stop. I can continue. And if I don't have to do it again, which is a lovely, I think, just try it.
Right.
For 3 minutes. The new segment is 3 minutes. But I had so much fun out there. And you make it a destination. So you do a little journey. Tell me if we're going to do a mountain biking experience. What happens in our day? How long is the day? What time do we start? How does that work?
So our most popular mountain bike experience is about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. We have our guests meet up at the McDowell-Sonoran Preserve in North Scottsdale. You went out of Fracefield Trailhead, but now we are at Pima Dynamite Trailhead. There's multiple start locations. So they would show up. One of my guides would be there with the bikes. We'd get the heights from the guests prior to. Mountain bikes, we provide helmets. All of our helmets are turned once a year, so we make sure that our equipment is up to date, up to par. We provide full finger mountain bike gloves because you go down, maybe, possibly, you put your hand down first. I want you to be able to swim at that pool later and not have that, that hand that's
rash.
Yes.
Road rash.
So we have full finger gloves. We offer backpacks for our guests to borrow, water, snacks, and a couple other fun little things that we take out there.
Treats along the way.
Little wow factors.
Yeah, for the wild bunch.
For the wild bunch. And we talk to our guests. I talk to them. My guides talk to them about food allergies to make sure. Someone has a gluten allergy, we have the correct snacks out there. Someone has is kosher, we can provide snacks for that too. So, yeah, we
plan it all.
We bring it all, but we bring it all.
Yeah,
right.
Wear a nice shoe, hopefully.
Closed-toed shoe it's important. Athletic apparel always. Sunscreen always recommended.
Drink water. Don't be hungover.
Yes, don't please.
It's so warm out sometimes.
Yeah, if you're coming with a group of friends and you plan on hitting Old Town the night before, I always say, Moscow Mule water. Moscow Mule water. Just don't show up dehydrated if you can, because that's not a fun thing for anybody.
Tell me what you've learned about running a business.
Oh, it's fun, but it can be difficult. I think people like me who are entrepreneurs go into this and go, oh, I can do what I love and make lots of money. But the reality is I can do what I love and give people lots of adventures and be comfortable. And there's days, doing permits is hard. Doing insurance is hard. Managing staff is hard, even though they're all independent contractors. They have lives and scheduling and other jobs. But I think at the end of the day, there's nothing I'd really rather be doing. Although I have sat on the side of the 101 and turned on my Radio Gaga by Queen when I'm having a bad day, or my Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, because I'm just in tears, because some days it's hard.
Why? What made you cry?
I think it's because I'm an emotional business owner, and that's something I need to work on. But just when things kind of go sideways, or we might get outbid for a tour. Someone calls me and our pricing's a little high, and they call one of our competitors and they go with them, but I know they should have went with us. But I don't want to give in because I don't want to devalue my company. And I don't know, there's there's just days where it's hard. It's hard to manage. And let me tell you, a good Freddie Mercury or Whitney Houston can really pull you right out of that.
It's amazing what music does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On
my go-to.
On this podcast, I like to ask about the jump and making that jump from working from someone else into self-employment. What would you tell yourself before you made that move? What would you tell someone else who's thinking about making that move?
Working for someone else can be amazing if the person that you're working for is someone that you love and I would say adore. I think the biggest difference is you have time for yourself, but you think you do, but you don't. It's a 24/7. Running your own business is 24/7, really, at the end of the day. And it's hard to set hours to stay in. For example, I'm going to answer my phone from 8 to 8. That never happens. I can assure you tonight, Brett and I will be sitting probably in the spirit room and my business phone will ring and I'll have to make a decision whether to take it or not, right? So when you work for somebody else, I feel like you're in a schedule and you go to, you show up, you do your job and you go home, right? But when you're a business owner, it's nonstop and you have to get used to that.
Yeah.
And the people that you choose to be in your tribe to support you also have to get used to that. So
you're going to take that call.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. In the next 20 minutes, Brett's sitting alone in the spirit room while you book something.
That's right. That's right. Good thing he likes IPA.
What are you loving in Phoenix right now? What are you loving in Arizona? What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you doing?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously I have my World Series hat on.
Yes.
I went to the game 1 in Arizona last night. That was my first time at a World Series game, and the energy at Chase Field until about the 7th inning was off the charts.
Yeah.
You could just feel it through the crowd until we couldn't score some runs.
Yeah.
So I'm a dive bar girl. I love to go to like Coach House in Old Town Scottsdale or Rusty Spur or the Dubliners really close to where we live. So I'm not a foodie, so I'm not out, eating at a high-end restaurant.
But I mean, Coach House and Rusty Spur, aren't those the two debatable oldest bars in Scottsdale?
Yes.
There's we just don't know which one came first.
Yeah. Well, and the Coach House has all their Christmas lights up.
They are.
And that's, that's amazing when you're sitting there. You're like, between them and the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess, I'm not sure,
that is Christmas in Scottsdale.
Are the same. Yeah, there you go. Right?
It is. And the Spur always has live music. And for being someone who's worked random schedules, like you probably would have worked random schedules in your life, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, I can count on 2 p.m. on a Tuesday that the Spur would have live music.
Right.
So it is nice to have those little places that we enjoy and have been around for 100 years. Plus,
yeah, and you can,
Valley.
Right. And does that cowboy on the horse still roll in there?
Oh, I hear he's retiring, but I think he's got one, this is his last season, is what I've heard. Word on Main Street.
And then you can sit in those butt chairs.
Yep.
So you can look like you have a saloon girl's backside. Yeah.
I mean, I do love the Spur, and I do love, he's the singing cowboy.
That's it.
So
okay.
He sings. Tell me about how people would make reservations if they're interested, and how we find out what to do, and how would I even know what I should do? We talked about Tom's Thumb, but if I were going with some friends, or if I were going with maybe grandma and grandpa, what are some things that we should be thinking about as far as the hike, as far as the bike, as far as how difficult something might be?
So you would either, if you're at a resort, the concierge teams use us quite a bit. So you'd call, have a concierge call, and then the next step would be we would book you. We would book you for a hike, and then our guide, the guide that I assign, will call you directly and ask you some questions. What are you looking for? What is your expectation? How many people? What's the level of everybody in the group? So we do that sort of vetting process so we have a better idea. And then we have a couple different places we take people. We're not just one trail only. The McDowell Sonoran Preserve has 280 miles of trails in North Scottsdale alone, and then South Mountain has a bunch of trails. So we would do that, and we'd get you all set. We'd have the guide meet you, or we do transportation in some situations. Some pickups, guide would meet you, have all the supplies, and off you go. And it's, managing different levels of people. That happens quite a bit.
Okay.
So
we don't have to worry about that. That you will worry about that.
Yes.
You'll handle that.
Yes.
She'll handle that for us.
Yes.
What else do you want everybody to know? Is there anything else you want the people to know about you guys?
Just come to Arizona. If you're thinking about it or you're on the fence, Scottsdale is amazing. There's art here. There's, nightlife. There's the World Series is right now. The Suns are doing great.
Yeah.
Our Cardinals are doing great. I mean, we are just sports-wise.
Yeah.
We're big, but and go out on adventures, not just with my company. There's other things you can do if you're not a mountain biker or a hiker. There's Jeep companies that are amazing. Stellar Adventures is amazing for Hummer tours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hot air balloon companies that are amazing. Detours does Grand Canyon stuff. I mean, you can literally come here and book a tour every day you're here and see something different from a different angle, different perspective. But Jamie and I are going to be at Tom's Thumb looking down.
Yeah, we will.
We sure are.
We'll post it on the gram when we do.
We will.
And also, even if you're local, you can do all these things. And one of my favorite things to do is play tourist in my own town. And I think it's so special to see the place that we live in through a tourist's eyes, because it's so much fun. Thank you for helping our tourists come here and explore and love our community the way we love our community. It's great to see you again.
I just still every day am so stoked that you rode a mountain bike and Victor had the camera. You're welcome. Thank you for having me on this. It means a lot to me, Jamie. Thank you.
Victor was the star that day.
No, I don't know.
He was.
You were up there too.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.